Record to the cloud. Are you doing it? Did you hit it?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, good. Okay,
Recording
we're
now.
now recording. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed
job,
that.
Diane.
Daggone it. That was the one piece I forgot to tell her. Doggone it. So we
Okay,
just
well.
missed your story.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
Tell again. No.
No.
Again.
I mean,
can
we didn't
remember
miss
it.
it, but all those folks that don't get on during, these calls, they'll miss out when they watch the recording.
The other point that I wanted to make that I've just remembered was that, so I got a athletic scholarship at Butler University when some of you sports people might know the name Tony Hinkle. The Hinkle Fieldhouse is named after me, obviously. He'd been there 40 plus years, I think. But man, rejection. It's followed me around. So I got, in those, I'm so old that in those days, the freshmen were not allowed to play on the varsity team. So I did pretty well. I thought as a freshman. So next year you go out, try out, blah, blah, blah. And they just posted a sheet of paper sometime over the weekend. You could come by on Monday morning and see who made the team. I didn't even consider that I might not make the team, but my name was not on the list. And I was shattered, actually. It really bothered me a lot. So I had some lost years there wandering around trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to try to be. So
No kidding.
back to my parents had a house at 822 Southwest 5th. You could walk through some yards and be on their own campus in, I don't know, 3 minutes maybe. So that was there all this time. But, I was looking at other options.
Right.
And it turns out it was there under my nose all this time. Obviously turned out well, but, the path you take isn't always the most direct path, I guess is all I would.
Yeah, true.
It worked out.
Have you guys, that's what you just said, TK, reminds me of a little book. I don't know if any of you read it, called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I think it's Paulo Coelho.
Did.
And it's all about that. Judy, have you ever read that?
I think I did a while ago though, right?
Yeah. It's an old book, but it's all about that, where this kid goes out and he's searching for everything, and then he finds out, hey, it was right under his nose all the time, right back home. Yeah.
Well,
So,
we're
and by
discovering that, right? Here we are, Saturday afternoon, and what are we doing?
That's right.
yeah, that's exactly right.
We're all virtually
Yeah.
together. I liked it.
Yeah.
Talking to other people from RHSU guys, they're very jealous about this, quite honestly. And we all get together, we talk about all kinds of different things, and that there's so many people that participate in this. They can't believe it. They really can't.
I think that's right, Bob.
Yeah. Good.
I think we're up to 90. The invitations now go out to 96 people where I absolutely do have good email addresses.
Wow.
So I know that 96 people are getting the email.
That's
So we're
great.
getting a
And-
big rejection.
Don't think of it that way.
What'd you
We're
say,
the
Judy?
winners.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I had a difficult week work-wise this past week, so I didn't add any additional people. But then I'll go back next week. I'll add more people. I'll just keep doing it until I exhaust it, where I don't have good email addresses anymore, and we'll get probably up to at least 120 maybe.
Yeah.
And look,
Too
so
bad
we've
more
got
people. Too
yeah,
bad
we've
more
got
people aren't taking advantage of this.
But they will over time. That's why I wanted to start recording it and getting it
Yeah.
out there. So then I thought, well, maybe. So
good
Becky's on
idea.
for the first time. Johnny Bowman's on for the first time. And hopefully you guys will enjoy it and come, participate some more. So ladies first. So Becky, tell us about you guys, how you got, you guys weren't high school sweethearts, were you? Did
Yes.
you date when you were in
Yep.
high
Yes, we
school?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we met in 11th grade in, was it Mr. Sponsler's class?
Palmer sponsor.
Over
Yeah.
in Joseph Moore.
No kidding.
And
Dude.
It was a nice little walk from Joseph Moore back over to the high school. And so we took advantage of that. And when we got married in 67, he was in the Air Force, and we went to hither and yon, including Okinawa
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
and back. And our son was born when we were at Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene, Texas. And then he went to college at Tarleton and got a job here in Austin. And our younger son was born in Stephenville when he was at Tarleton. And that man was into everything. And I'm finding that out and trying to clean the stuff out.
Really?
I used to call him a pack rat. Now I call him a hoarder.
Ooh.
Really?
And the only thing he really stuck with amongst all of his hobbies was genealogy. And he discovered, and he'd heard rumors, but he pinpointed that he is the 6th great grandson of Ben Franklin.
Wow.
Wow.
So my kids are just all gaga about that, along with my nieces and nephews. And we were so, he was a part of the SAR here in Austin, and just ate it up. So I have behind me, I have gobs and gobs of genealogy. I mean, I don't know what to do with it yet, but I've got it.
Which branch? Which son
Pardon me?
or daughter?
I have two sons.
No, of Benjamin Franklin. I just read a
Oh,
book.
I'm sorry. It was the Beish line.
Oh, okay. The daughter,
Yes,
his only daughter.
yes. Yeah, and he came down through there. And when you look at him, I have a picture of him in revolutionary garb, that era of time. And you look at him sideways, and he's got his glasses down to here, and he looks just like Ben Franklin.
Wow.
So you can
Wow.
see the family resemblance.
Wow.
Wow.
He was pretty proud of that.
Of course.
Yes. So
Great.
we had a lot of good times with the SAR, and he joined up to be treasurer. Guess who got to be treasurer?
Yeah.
He did not have, he had no knowledge of numbers, but I had been banking for years, and I got the job. So, but I don't qualify for Sons of the American Revolution. So,
No.
Yeah.
So you're still in Austin, Becky?
yeah, I'm still in Austin. You traitor, you went to Houston.
Well, I've been here most of my time, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we're in the same place out here in Northwest Austin.
Okay.
And
But now, Nancy, where did you end up going to college, though?
Well, see, I started at Butler. That's what I was interested in.
I know that you
huh?
started at Butler.
Then I
then-
transferred to Texas Tech out in Lubbock, and that's where I finished.
Okay, that was it.
3
okay,
years.
yeah. Texas Tech. Okay.
That's when my parents moved to Texas.
Okay.
And,
That's when she got her Texas drawl.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was great. Texas Tech was a wonderful school, and of course, that's where Rick Jordan is. And
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
Nancy,
head of the
Nancy, you remember the College Inn?
The Lakeway area?
the College Inn.
Yeah, College Inn on
College Inn where?
College Inn on, I think it was on University.
Oh.
It was a big dormitory with two pools, a huge dormitory, private dormitory. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I was in Lubbock for
Oh,
a
okay.
year.
Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about is Lubbock. Yeah, I was there. Yeah. That was a great school. I was there for 3
Yep.
years. I loved it. After I got used to the desert. When my parents took me out there, I didn't know where I was going. I'd never seen such little bitty plants and all kinds of stuff. I thought the cowboys and the Indians were coming. It was fun. It was a great school, and it keeps growing and growing. It's a wonderful college. They just added a vet school there. That second, A&M was the only vet school in Texas, so now Texas Tech is has their own vet.
Yeah,
vet
Texas
school.
needed more than one.
Absolutely, I agree.
So Becky, how many children did you say you have?
I have two sons.
Okay.
One son is married and lives about 10 miles north of me. And then the other one is still at home. I wish he'd go.
Becky, are you in an area called Lakeway?
Right now he's in the bedroom swearing at the, I guess it's UT and maybe Texas.
TCU.
TCU.
I just
He's
saw it
in
on
there.
the TV.
Every once in a while it gets a little loud. So if you hear anything, that's him.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Becky, are you in an area called Hills of Lakeway out there?
Yeah, Lakeway's about maybe 7 miles down the road from me.
God, that is beautiful out there.
Pardon me?
Beautiful out there. My
Oh,
son
it's
called out there a
gorgeous.
couple times. God, that's fabulous.
The whole country of Texas is,
Unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
it's got everything.
They've been
and-
lies all the rumors about Texas, that's for sure.
Yes, it's the prettiest part of Texas, I think. So I don't want to be further west like Nancy was,
No.
but we did live in Stephenville, and it's kind of flat and dreary up there as far as that goes. And that's where Tarleton State University is. We lived there for 7 years, and that's peanut country.
Mhm.
Got a lot of
Okay.
peanut fields.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sandy soil, so there's a lot of peanuts and melons.
Ah,
Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
We went back
Yeah.
last year. The boys Eric doesn't remember it, but John does, because we were 8 when we moved from there. And he was really kind of wanting to go back, and our little old house that we paid $75 a month for is still standing.
I'll be
All
darned.
new houses around it. So we were surprised.
wow.
Cool. Well, Johnny Bowman, how about telling us all what the heck you guys been doing all these years? When did you get married and all that?
Well, I got married to my first wife while I was still in the military. We were divorced after 23 years. I had 2 daughters. And the woman I'm married to now, Juanita, we've been married now for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And she's got a son and a daughter. And between us, I think we've got 12. I can't keep count anymore. I think 12 grandchildren. Probably have some great grandkids here before.
Oh my God.
But
That's great,
But
John.
I had somewhat of a journey after the military. Of course, most of you might have seen me on the police department there in Richmond. I was on the PD there for 5 years. And I think Mark Dooning and Jim Manley convinced me that I could probably do well in school. I didn't quite graduate, from high school. I tried hard. Actually, I didn't even try hard. but
We call BS on that.
I did get a GED in the military, and they make you get one. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done that. But so anyway, but my favorite story is I had to when I decided to enroll over at Earlham at IU East.
Yeah.
There was a law enforcement assistance program that encouraged cops to become educated, and of course the chief made political hay out of it. But anyway, I had to go to the high school and get my GED certificate converted to a diploma.
Oh my.
And darned if Dean Koontz was still the dean of men, and of course
Wow.
he kicked me out of school I don't know how many times.
Come on.
Threatened me with expulsion in the 11th grade. He said, "You either quit or I'll expel you and you'll never be able to come back." I said, "Whoa, throw me in the briar patch,
Yeah.
But anyway, when I walked in there, I was in my police uniform, and he looked at me and he says, "Bowman, I never thought I'd see you in that kind of uniform." He probably thought I was going to be in prison uniform or something. But
Oh, right.
it was kind of humorous. But anyway, I took 3 classes at IU East, and hell, I made A's in all 3 of them. It was incredible.
Great.
I didn't have an A on my report card in high school ever. But anyway, Manley and Dooning both convinced me. We played a lot of handball and at YMCA, and they said, you know, you could go down to IU and do well. And I don't really think I could do. I had a wife and 2 kids. And
Yeah.
anyway, Manley said, well, you just look at it as an 8-hour job, and put 8 hours a day in. And so I got down there in September of 7. I was admitted on probation, conditional status, because I didn't graduate from high school. I think I went down there in September of 71, and I completed all my degree requirements by August of 73.
Yeah.
Wow.
I carried
Look
like,
at John work, man. Come on.
I carried 22 hours a semester, sometimes more.
Wow.
Dude.
Winter session,
Fantastic.
post session, summer session. So I completed all my, and the chief of police of the IU division of Indiana University PD, he taught over at the Police Training Institute at the University of Illinois. He was a sex crimes expert.
Mm.
Taught all over the country. But I was having coffee, and he said, well, what are you going to do now that you've finished? And I said, well, I guess I'll be a police chief or something. I got a degree in 7 years police experience, so, and that, which made me pretty much a golden boy back then. But
Wow.
John,
he
was
said,
that,
well, have you ever thought about teaching? And I said, well, yeah, I haven't really considered it. But he carried my resume over to the University of Illinois, the Police Training Institute over there. And they were expanding at the time. And so by September, I went over for a search committee and was appointed to the faculty there. And I was there for 5 years, finished my master's degree in business.
Good for you.
And the dormitories that we housed our police students in, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse since I finished my MBA. And so I went to work for this private dormitory. They own dormitories everywhere, including Lubbock, Texas. That's why I asked you about College Inn.
Oh, okay.
So they made me vice president of Western operations, and we had a big dorm in Colorado, and then I can't think of where it was now, but Texas Tech, we
Boulder.
had College Inn. That wasn't Denver, it was
Boulder.
Bold. Yeah.
Colorado State, maybe.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Anyway, I went out, we changed the name of the College Inn to Bromley Hall, which is the flagship dormitory in Champaign.
Mm.
And I went in there and fired everybody that worked there, except,
Oh, no.
except the maintenance engineer. It was a pretty poorly run place.
Yeah.
The students had taken over the place, and it was really a disaster place.
That's the way we like it.
7 years in law enforcement, I was able to straighten that out pretty quick.
Well, good.
I stayed there 2 years and realized that, I had to do martini lunges. We were always trying to fill our place with summer conferences. So I had to sit with professors of microbiology. And
Yeah.
that's when I found out what a 3 martini lunch was for, so you could tolerate people. But after 2 years, they opened a new faculty position back at the University of Illinois, and so I ended up going back there and stayed for 30 years. Retired as associate professor, and in fact, I was associate director at the time I finally retired.
Wow.
It was a great career, mostly a weapons trainer, and I taught firearms all over the country, and that was my main thing. I developed a master firearms instructor program, and I continued. I had a legal consulting firm that I started in '91, and I finally retired from that in, I think, 2011 or 12, somewhere in there. But mostly doing defense work, defending cops and agencies that they work for, cities. Although I had to do some plaintiff work too. I didn't like it very much, but when attorneys start asking you if I ever met a policeman, or if I have ever met anybody that committed have you ever met a policeman that did anything wrong? Yeah, that was
Right. Yeah.
And even I mean, did a lot of corporate counsel work up in Chicago, and they said, Bowman, you got to take a plaintiff case here and there, you know. Of course, when I took one against the city of Chicago, they didn't like that very much.
Well,
but
I guess not.
anyway, I gave that up. It's very high pressure stuff, and I'm very happily retired. I took up golf and became obsessed with that. I'm still in the gym 3 or 4 days a week, and I did have a bad January this year. I went in for my physical thinking that, I'm in great shape. And when they were going, the guy was going over my blood work, and I was almost done. He was telling me what great shape I was in. And then he said, wait,
then,
well, just a minute, he said, we have got to make you an appointment with an oncologist. You've got multiple myeloma, which is a blood disease, blood cancer. So that was quite shocking. I told him, I said, well, maybe we ought to wait 6 months and I'll come back. Maybe those numbers will go down. He said, I don't think so.
That's a good idea.
So I've been going up to Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, which is #1 in Florida.
Good.
And found out from my hematologist up there that I do have multiple myeloma. It is present and it's active. However, it's in the smoldering stage. They can't even, I don't even know why they did the blood work that found it, but so when you're smoldering, you go back for observation, but they don't treat it. She said, well, you may smolder for 15 years and die of something else, and not myeloma, or it may activate and we'll treat it. But I feel pretty good. They're very good there. And my sister, amazingly, was diagnosed 9 months before I was. And she actually had symptoms. She had holes in her spine, and it attacks the bone marrow. She's been under treatment for almost a year, and they won't call it remission, but her numbers are low, and she'll continue to be on chemo for the rest of her life, but she's doing quite well. So I'm pretty optimistic about it. Pretty lucky that they found it as early as they did, but it's 2020, so I don't know what'll happen next.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much where we're at. We love it down here in Florida. We love it out here on the peninsula. It's old Florida, and there's very little traffic compared to Sarasota or Tampa, of course. Great place.
Well, we'll go a little bit into your love story. Where did you meet? Where did you and Juanita meet? How did you guys?
I taught a lot of 1 week specialty classes, firearms instructor and tactical firearms. And anyway, each one of those on Thursday, we trained hard during the week, but on Thursday night we had a class party. So I was down at the White Horse Inn with one of my buds, and we were drinking some beers and getting ready for the party that night. And there were some women sitting down there. And one of them kept looking at me. And so when we came back to the party that night, they were still there. And all of my guys, they said, Bowman, you got to come over here. This woman wants to meet you. And I said, I don't think so. Well, they drugged me over there. And so I always tell people we met at a cop party, and we've been pretty much partying ever since. So
Good.
I tried to stay away from her. We didn't end up getting married I think we finally moved in together maybe after a year and a half or so. But I tried to stay away because I didn't ever want to get married again, and I knew she was dangerous. So
what's that mean, Jeff? What's that mean?
Finally moved in. We were renting a condo, and I was flying out to Arizona to teach. And I was on the plane, and I thought, if this plane goes down, everything I own is going to go to my daughters. And I've already given them, they've got educations, they've got cars, and I'm done. I want stuff to go to Juanita. So I came home, and I walked into the kitchen, and I said, let's legalize this relationship. And she says, is that a proposal? I said, no, we're going to legalize the relationship.
Romantic devil.
So romantic.
We're going to get married, and we're not having a, what do you call it after you get married?
Reception.
Shotgun.
Honeymoon.
Yeah, well,
Reception.
we're not going on a honeymoon. We're taking a vacation. But anyway, we got married, and like I said, we're going on 30 years. We had a great life together, almost like we were made for each other. So
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great, Johnny.
well, I think I've taken up enough of your time. Surely there's somebody else.
No.
No, this is super, man, because this is part of the reason why we're all getting together. It's like we knew each other in high school, and then a lot of us didn't see each other again till like the 50th reunion. Some of us have gone to earlier reunions, but then you know how those reunions are. You say hi and you spend maybe at most 10 minutes with each other, and then it's on to something else, and you never really find out about what everybody did or what
Right.
what all happened. So
Yeah.
we've been having a lot of fun with this, getting into so everybody's learning a lot more about each other.
Mhm.
Hey, Johnny. Hey, John.
Yeah.
It's TK. I'm incredibly impressed with your story, and now it gives me the right to call you Professor Bowman, something I never would have thought,
I always liked it when attorneys call me that. Professor Bowman, what do you think about and there are very few people, my students were cops, mostly, and
Yeah.
so they didn't, they called me Mr. Bowman, which
Did Richard Coons
that's when I
ever-
knew I was getting old. But,
Oh yeah.
but
Hey,
down
John.
here playing golf, I think somebody must have done a Google search on me or something, but there 2 or 3 of my golf buddies call me Professor. Hey, the professor's here now.
Hey, John, about Dan Felt. Did Richard Coons ever know you were a professor?
Pardon?
Did Richard Coons ever know you were a professor?
Did who know?
Richard
Coons.
Coons, the dean of boys at Richmond.
I'm having trouble understanding.
Richard Coons.
Oh, no, I don't know if Coons did. I'll tell you who did, I think was kind of shocked. Of course, Ryan Clutie was the mayor when I was on
Mayor,
the police
yeah.
department. And we were down in, Juanita and I were down in Florida. It might have been on our honeymoon, if you want to call it that. But we went into an Irish pub, and there wasn't hardly anyone in there. And it must have been a weekend because there was college football on there, and it was Big Ten football.
Mm.
And I said, I mentioned that Big Ten football, and he said, "Oh, are you a Big Ten guy?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm from. I graduated from Indiana." And he said, "Well, where'd you grow up?" I said, "Richmond, Indiana." And he said, "Really?" He said, "Well, my dad was a teacher at Richmond High School." I said, "What was his name?"
What's his name? Yeah.
Ryan Clutie.
Wow.
My homeroom teacher. And he was the mayor when I got appointed on the police department.
Yeah.
And then, of course, later on, I tried to get, I applied for a leave of absence from the PD to go to school, go down to IU. And, they told me, no, we won't do that. But if you do end up graduating, you'll get the first job opening we have. And so, but Mr. Clutie was shocked, when I ended up being appointed to faculty over at the U of I. Well, I remember when I came to the first reunion, and I think that might have been maybe I got a picture. Well, that picture that Jane Ann sent out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there. Dick Bird, all of Tom Pearson. It was really great. But what was I going to say? Well, we came back to several reunions after that. And,
It was probably where you saw Byron Clutie.
well, I saw Byron because he was the mayor during the explosion. I was on the PD
Yeah.
when the explosion happened.
Oh, wow.
And so, when I came back, Mr. Clutie used to say that I was introduced to his homeroom. I was in my paratrooper uniform, and he said, this is probably the most self-educated young man I ever had in my homeroom. Because I did read. I read pretty much every book I get my hands on. but I, scribbled on exams and geometry.
Yeah.
I wasn't a very receptive student, but I did read, and I'm very thankful for that. Mr. Clutie was always very supportive, and I was happy to have a relationship with him after I graduated, and was neat meeting his son. What a small
You
world.
bet.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
So, hey,
guy.
Bob, while you got a chance, could you bring everybody up to date on what's going on there where you're living?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've had a couple outbreaks of COVID-19 here at the nursing home where I'm at. We have 2 people in isolation.
Ooh.
I was one of those until about an hour ago, and the guy across the hall is now free too. Had a little bit of a fever that popped up Thursday night. I get, because of my health problems that I have otherwise, I'm subject to get a little bit of infection in bladder, kidney type stuff, which we've been through and all that. But it generally goes away once you get on antibiotics and that kind of stuff. So I am blessed that I'm found out enough about my body that when all of the nursing staff and some of the doctors come in, we can talk intelligently about what it is that I have and what it is that I'm doing. And to be honest with you, Tom, it's been a real blessing for me. So everything is in good shape. We're wide open now, but we will be pretty well down to no visitors for probably 14 days, at least 10.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah, and you were telling me that when this was really, the big scare, that they were, even when they came into your room, they had like hazmat suits on for you.
Yeah, it's green robes and mask and the whole deal. I mean, this place is really professional, Tommy and TK and all of you. When they get it shut down, they're locking it down. There's no messing around.
Yeah.
The
Good.
people that bring in the food are in hazmat masks and trays and robes, and they're here and gone like that.
Bob, what do you have to do to leave that place eventually? Is that the goal?
Eventually, Tom, I got to get healthier.
Yeah.
I have one kidney that doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have one kidney that is subject to develop kidney stones and require the same kind of surgery.
I see. Okay.
And at that point, I may be at Orem Cemetery. I may refuse dialysis.
Right. Okay.
They'd get me on out of here because I'm 75 years old and got a heck of a lot.
Sure.
But I try to maintain a good attitude.
Oh, that's for obvious, Bob.
And
Sure.
the MS and all of that may be directly responsible for a lot of this secondary level problems.
I see.
And for those of you who don't know, and very few of you know me, TK may know a little bit, but I had 7 brain concussions when I was playing football.
Mhm.
Oh, my goodness.
And the last one was I didn't mean to scare you.
That
The
is
last
scary.
first one was in 9th grade at Pleasant View. The last one was at Philadelphia when I was trying to make the Eagles football team.
Right.
An old guy named Floyd Peters,
Oh, yeah.
in one felt swoop, unsnapped my helmet, tipped it back, and then popped me right in the head with the top of his helmet
Well,
and took out my whole right hand jaw.
Oh, my.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
was on that for 5 years getting it put back together.
Oh,
is he still alive?
That was it.
Floyd Peters still alive, Bob?
TK, I think he died. He was on the end of his career. He was a
Yeah.
Hall of Famer and a mean
That's right.
SOB.
I'm going to go talk to him if he's still alive.
Yeah.
What's that?
Jeez. Chief, man.
Wow.
No, I'll share that with you guys because we're old people
Mhm.
now. But
Oh, sure.
Right,
everybody
right.
wants to know what happened. That's what happened.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
And I was fortunate I got in the restaurant business when I got back and had 38 years of wonderful life.
Yeah,
good.
Oh,
I
good.
remember.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you get better and can get out.
Yeah, me too.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
So, Bob, if you were if you were 25 again and had a young son or daughter, would you recommend they not play football?
TK, I have 2 grandsons that play football.
Yeah.
Kelly Bum's son, James,
Mhm.
is a full scholarship tight end at Miami University.
At
Florida?
Oxford?
Now.
Mhm.
And Bo has 2 young sons that are probably going to be football players.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a much safer game now, TK.
I think it is safer. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of precautions in place now that Tom Porter, we didn't know about back then.
No.
Oh, no. No.
You just hear guys
Uh,
say, "I got my bell rung," and then you're back in there. That was the deal, as I
Put some
recall.
dirt on it.
What what'd you say, John?
Put some dirt on it. Get back in there.
Yeah, put some dirt on. There you go.
Hey, did you guys just get a peek of Juanita in the background? Did you
Juanita
guys
just
see that?
she just came in and waved at me. So
Bring Juanita in.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
she's been out shopping for me. She brought me home a case of wine, I hope.
Okay, good.
Lots of wine.
Good.
All
My
right.
kind of
Good to
people.
see you. Good to see you, Juanita. Yeah, Bob's talking about what it was like back then, where there weren't all those precautions that I think maybe it was last week I mentioned, and I apologize, ladies, for talking so much about sports. We'll switch gears here, but
Fine.
when I
I was
think
gonna say that.
Love it.
yeah,
That's fine.
I think last week somebody asked me about, I think you were asking, well, who recruited me? It was Cleve Rush. But when I got there in the fall, and I didn't even know he had left, it was a guy named Frank Lauteber, and he had come from West Point. And I'm pretty sure when he was at West Point, Bobby Knight was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But-
Bobby Knight.
Yeah. But anyway, so he's there. So then when I get there in the fall, I found out he had gotten there in the spring. So it was his first spring ball there. And he had all these guys that had, were already there and had all been recruited by Cleve Rush. And he'd gone through there and he decided he was going to find out, who was really up to snuff and who wasn't. And so I guess that spring ball, he just did everything possible. He put them absolutely through hell.
It is.
And a lot of guys washed out because of some pretty serious injuries. Yeah, so it was pretty gruesome back then. And then TK, you were talking about you're so old that you didn't get to play on the varsity until after your freshman year. But yeah, it was the same there.
Yeah.
And wasn't Bob when you were down at IU? Wasn't it also the same? Because we couldn't play.
Yeah, we had 3 years of varsity time.
Yeah, and one of the tough things about being on the freshman team was after the games on Saturday, the freshman team had to go over on Sunday and clean the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Not
Hardly.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, that was one of the ways you paid for your scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah,
Study program, yeah.
Welcome to college.
yeah.
Well, you know what? How much is it?
79 cents.
Well, let me see what I've got. Okay.
Hey Bob.
Yes.
Bob. Hey Van Pelt. Where'd you go? You remember we used to go to the
My
wine.
grandson's his piggy bank, and I may have given him all my change.
Shirley, mute.
Shirley, go on mute.
You mute her
until
she gets on.
I do that.
Diane,
Is that you,
Diane, you can go out to participants and you can mute her.
Sworn. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see what I've got. You never know. There's a lot
Here's
of
your chance, Diane.
Be careful what you say.
That's right. She's got power.
There you go.
Okay, John. Yeah.
Good job, Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just going to ask Bob if he remembers being down in the weight room at the YMCA.
I sure do.
Yeah. You were. I think you were playing football then.
Right.
I didn't. But I remember being in that weight room. I ran around with Skip Joy. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I
Skippy
did.
Joy.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to Skip. He went to Indianapolis and we lost touch. But he and I played handball and worked out in the weight room down there. But Tom Rowland, I still got a card from the YMCA, the Barbell Club. Tom Rowland, who was on the police department back then. I think I was like 14 years old or maybe younger than that.
And then Johnny, there's a big guy from Reed Hospital named Rock Tonkel.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the Rock Uncle story.
Rock
Oh my
Tonkel.
God.
Very high, yeah. Remember that story, Johnny? And Jack Edelman was a big weightlifter at that time.
There was I can't think of the guy's name. He was a big man and he played handball. He was a runner-up in the Indiana State Handball Championships 2 or 3 years. And Tom, in fact, they've got a memorial handball tournament that they were playing at the Y, and he ran off the road and hit a tree or something later. But I can't think of the guy's name. But handball was my thing at that time.
Yeah, I was more of a racquetball player. I wasn't quite very good at the handball. I had no right side. So I played pity pat with the old guys.
Hey, TP, this is TK again. I wanted to ask all the women who are listening what it was like. Did you have full opportunity back in the day to?
Are you kidding?
I know the answer. Come on, I know the answer, but I'm just putting it out there because Judy and I have talked a little bit about this in emails about, if I would have been let's reverse it. What if the women had all the power and opportunity back in the day, and I would have been so driven to be in sports. I mean, I would have been pissed. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I have a story to tell.
Okay. Yeah.
Back to us, Judy.
Let's hear it,
It's
Judy.
about our old friend David Longer. You guys remember him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
In Charles School, I was the fastest runner until the 6th grade. I could beat I just could. I was skinny and I could run fast. And I beat everybody in school until the final day when we had these races. Do you remember in grade school, you'd have the final carnival day?
Right.
And we were set up to sprint to a particular, or whatever you did. I don't know if it's called a sprint in those days. And I expected to win. And I ran as hard as I could. And David Longer beat me.
No.
Fast
Right.
Sounds like
fast
longer.
forward to the 50th reunion. Sitting at the bar, and wasn't that in that hotel, the Richmond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling?
Sitting up at the bar, and this guy comes in, slides in beside me, puts his hand on my shoulder, and he says,
What?
I just want to know one thing. Do you remember that 6th grade race? And I said,
Wow.
do I remember it? And he said, did you let me win?
I hope you said yes.
I
Yeah,
said,
you
I
can
That's
did
cute.
not. And he said, well, you should be pretty proud of yourself because I won the state the next year. But we couldn't
Oh.
run. And I mean, we couldn't race. So that was the end of my race.
Great.
Judy, there were two ladies at Richmond High that I remember were really proactive in women's athletics. One of them was Mary Liz Miller.
Don't remember
Remember
her.
that name at all?
No.
She lived right outside of Forest Hills Country Club, right there on the corner.
Right.
A little horse farm right there on the corner of 23rd.
Oh, I know that farm. Yeah.
And the other one was Janet Land.
I remember her.
Oh, I remember
Yeah, it
her.
was kind of a
I
big-
had her for a history class.
very proactive in supporting women's athletics and activities.
Good.
I remember them distinctly, yeah.
I
Well,
remember,
now-
I didn't even know we could be involved in it. You know, it wasn't even ever
Oh,
thought.
Not back then.
But I have a similar story to Judy. In elementary school, I was a really fast runner, and I remember I broke my ankle
Ooh.
falling down the stairs to go roller skate in the basement in 6th grade, and they put a walking cast on me, and we had some kind of basketball tournament, and they wouldn't let me play in it because I had a walking cast. And I remember being so angry because I I felt I could run faster because I had a little extra height. Well, I really loved being active and athletic, but never did I question why can't I?
No.
I don't know where I was back then. I guess I was just.
You guys had block R.
Yeah.
We did. Yes, we did.
We did. You got to do this, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Took a lot of talent.
I do remember being on the bowling team, or maybe it wasn't even a team. It was
Well, maybe, yeah.
bowling league, right?
Or bowling club we had.
Maybe it was
My
a club.
sister Ann, who some of you may remember, was a pretty good athlete.
Who?
She was a lot like you guys. She was frustrated because she couldn't do anything.
Who was
She
this?
was a good athlete, good volleyball player, good baseball player and all that, but nothing to
Who
do
was that?
with it.
Who, Bob?
His sister.
My sister Ann.
And
I have two older sisters that are both passed now.
Mm.
And Ann's the
She's
one.
a
that
great
was,
cheerleader.
You may have remembered her a little bit. She retired from Bayou East and died, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago now.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, Judy was talking about 6th grade. I remember when I was 12 years old, Johnny Bowman hit 2 home runs off me in a Little League game.
Oh,
Johnny, I'll never forget it. I'm
Hey, Harvey.
still haunted by
Hey,
that.
Harvey, I still got the newspaper clipping.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got.
If you would,
I hit,
if you would,
I hit 2 home runs
if you
off
would
of.
scan that to me, if you would scan that, I'd love to see it, because I mean, I can remember that. It's haunted me for only about 70 years. 60 years, I guess.
John, we were
Was
proud
there-
because we started Little League.
Oh, I was on. I think I was on 2 Little League teams at one WKBV the first year, and then
Yeah.
Terham Shrine the second year, and we won the championship both years in a row.
Right.
And at that time, I was big for my age, but by the time it got to Babe Ruth League, I felt like a little Brian Starr that was on. But I didn't start growing again till much later. But those were good times. I played with Dick Bird.
Yeah.
I remember all the guys. Pearson. Well, Woody
Coyle.
Woody Coyle. Woody contacted me not too long ago, and we met down here in Florida. He came down and stays up in Sarasota. So went out
Hey,
and had a
John.
drink.
John, this is Tom. Do you have his email address? Because I've tried to get in touch with Woody, and I think that one kicks back on me.
You know what? I don't know if I got his email, but I may have his phone number if I can find it. One way or another, I'll get a hold of him and see if he's got I'm sure he's got an email.
Hey,
Yeah, that'd be
TP.
great.
His sister's Charlotte
Yeah.
Hostetter, isn't she?
Hmm?
Is Charlotte Hostetter Woody's sister?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
I'm
Hey,
pretty
TP.
sure I've got a sister here in town. I'll try to reach her.
Hey, TP.
Yeah.
Birdman occasionally meets up with Woody Coyle. Is that who you're talking about? I was distracted.
Yeah,
briefly.
right. Woody
Yeah.
Coyle. Mhm.
I would think that Birdman has
And when you say Birdman, are you talking about Dick?
Dick Bird. Yeah.
Dick
Okay,
Bird.
okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know how that developed, but yeah, Birdman at some point in the
With
last.
Dick Bird, you guys, with Dick Bird, I'm going to have to go back to Dooning and say, Dooning, you're going to have to get Bird over there to your place some Saturday, because otherwise we're probably never going to get him on here.
You know,
Okay,
we need to get Sonsini on too. He's over on the West Coast.
That's right.
Oh, he's been on.
Has he been on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, he's
beginning.
been on.
I think
TP,
Bird, I think Bird and a couple other guys came down and stayed with Mike a year ago or 2 years ago. I saw
Yeah.
something on Facebook about it. So.
we for, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, somewhere in that range. Usually March Madness, and we go down there and, well, of course, we drink beer and talk about girls and women and watch the game.
Oh,
laughing?
you better be careful, man.
No,
Yeah,
in fact,
Beth's
you
background.
remember the time, that kind of stuff, and then somebody will say, no, that's not what happened. TK, here's what happened. You make the truth. By the end of the conversation, you might really know something that happened that wasn't missed.
Oh, look who's behind you, buddy. She heard you say that.
she
Oh, I
heard
want to
you.
go down there and talk about women. Hey, as you guys were talking about, where the girls had no opportunities in sports. I forget who I was talking to. Oh, it was while I'm here visiting up here. But when we got married, Jane and I got married, it was the summer before our senior year, and she transferred from IU to Toledo, and she had tremendous grades at IU. She may have been one of only 3 women majoring in business at the time down at IU, and she was the only accounting major at that time.
Yeah.
And then when she went to Toledo, she transferred, and they didn't, in terms of her class standing, then they didn't. She did lose some credits. There's another story I could tell you sometime, but anyway, she didn't lose any of her accounting credits, thankfully, because at the time she was enrolling, they were trying to take some of those away from her, and she was in the bursar's office or something, and the guy standing next to her was kind of overhearing all this, and it turned out that he had been a professor at IU, and he had just come to Toledo to head up the accounting department there. And he overheard all this, and he says, "Excuse me." And then he starts talking to Jane and finds out that she went to IU and she was majoring in accounting, all this kind of stuff. And then he looks at these people and says, she's not losing any of her accounting credits.
Oh, wow.
All right.
But anyway, so she did lose some credits. And so when I graduated in May of '67, she wasn't able to graduate until August. And so when she graduated number 1.
Ooh.
Wow.
And she wanted to, so she was an accounting major. She wanted to go into public accounting. She actually wanted to specialize in tax.
Oh.
And what made me think of all this was because of RBG recently passing away. And I don't know if you saw all of that stuff on her, where she had to, she ended up kind of the same way. She couldn't get a job. She had all these unbelievable credentials, and she couldn't get a job in a law firm. Well, Jane Ann was unable to get a job in no public accounting firm would make her an offer to anything. She ended up in private accounting, and we ended up having to go through an employment agency to get her a job, and we had to pay the fee.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
She was a woman.
so I mean, here again, it's highlights what it was like back then.
That's right.
Made a lot of progress,
For
I'll
women.
say.
Student in the class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys better watch out, though. We're
That's
coming
right.
up and up and up.
And I'll tell you what, too, you watch these girls that compete in sports, basketball and
Yeah.
softball, and I mean, it's
yeah.
incredible how much they've gotten better since when they first started developing ladies sports. But I mean, these ladies are incredibly talented now. They can, they can play with the guys.
They could whip our
And
butt.
good coaching. I mean, the coaching makes a huge difference. And they've got good coaches now who are experienced.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
helps.
And facilities, Judy. Title IX did a lot for facilities too,
Yeah, right.
as
Yeah.
far as access to facilities.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a granddaughter who's a Division I player, will be in Bloomington, Indiana. And she's playing in some of the finest facilities in the country.
Cool.
And Indianapolis has 7 or 8 facilities that you can do anything, anytime. And they're huge. I mean, they're 300, 400, 500 acres of nothing but athletic development.
Wow.
It's incredible, yeah.
What sport is she doing, Bob?
Volleyball.
Uh-huh.
She's about a 6-footer, Harvey. She's a real hitter.
Wow.
And her dad's 6'7", and my daughter Kelly's 5'10".
Gee.
And genetically, she's what I'd call a monster because she is a big, strong lady that likes the action. I get her games on. I'll send you a link, TK.
Okay.
Yeah. Send it to me.
On the web.
Do you
And it's
think-
fun to watch her.
Yeah, Judy, what?
Do you think that women's sports will ever attract the publicity and crowds that men's sports have all along?
No.
I mean, eventually down the road.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Very difficult to do,
Honey?
Judy.
Why
The
is
money-
that?
The money is so heavily tilted towards basketball and football,
Particularly football for money making.
Oh.
particularly football.
True.
Very, very difficult to get that on equal ground, Judy, as far as I can see.
And most women I've known are non-violent. Yeah, they're not in heads.
They're not in what?
Women's soccer.
Yeah, women's soccer.
Yeah, there you go.
They
Fortino,
bet.
Women's volleyball packs them in.
And
Yeah,
women's tennis.
Yes.
All right.
tennis.
I remember
Recently,
at the University of Illinois,
go ahead.
the women's basketball team played in Huff Gym, which was a small gym that the men used to play there. Of course, they built Assembly Hall. Well, they decided that they wanted to move to Assembly Hall. When they were in Huff Gym, it was packed because it was a small gym. When they went over to Assembly Hall, it was like there was nobody there, even though they had the same, because they should have stayed at Huff, you know. Maybe at some point down the road, they might attract bigger crowds, but women's volleyball at the U of I was amazing. I mean, that place rocked and rolled, Huff Gym where they played. So I think, you know, they've made incredible games, and particularly, I mean, in terms of talent. And so.
Well, it's going to be quiet around here now. TCU beat the Longhorns.
They did?
Right.
Wow.
If I can have peace for a while until the next game comes on.
Uh-oh.
What was the score, Becky?
Pardon me?
What was the score? You know?
Oh, 33-31.
Oh,
Wow.
Becky, I have a granddaughter that's a cheerleader at University of Texas.
It's what?
A cheerleader at University of Texas. My granddaughter,
Oh,
Bozo Olivia, is a sophomore down there. She's on the cheer squad.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I didn't go to college there. Well, I didn't go to college anywhere except for Indiana Business College.
All right.
But great fans of the Longhorns.
Yep.
Wait, Indiana, where was Indiana Business College?
It was on the second floor above Woolworth.
Yep.
Oh, okay. They're in Richmond. Okay.
And I had a teacher there that had been there when my great aunt went to school.
oh my goodness.
And I mean, it was like, oh my goodness. When we signed up and she looked at him and she says, I remember you. So he had been her teacher.
My mother and my aunt were graduates of Indiana Business College.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They
that.
go Vista County, right? Down, separate.
Well, I became a secretary. As you said, there was no, sports and stuff like that were kind of out of the question. So I think my first job was at Matherly Insurance at 11th and Main.
Oh, yeah.
Vern Matherly, I remember him
Yeah,
well.
yeah, Vernon Matherly. And then I
Very
got,
good development partner, yeah.
and then went to Second National Bank
Wow.
and then got married.
Great.
Well, guys, I hate to quit and run, but we're meeting some people for dinner at 5. So I probably ought to get my shower and clean up.
That's
a little
fine.
bit.
Johnny, Johnny, really glad you got on today, man, and I hope you'll get on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I put it off.
do it.
I kept wanting to get on, but this is the first time I've ever been on Zoom. I just put it off because I was worried about not being high tech enough. But this was really something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Send me that article, Johnny.
Yes.
Well, I'll be back
Send me
again.
that article.
Okay, good.
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 All right.
Hey, see you,
How do
John.
I?
Good to see you.
How do I?
Bye-bye. Have a good week.
I will. Do I just click the leave button?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
click leave.
All I do?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
See you all next week.
Yeah,
Okay, great, Johnny.
Bye, John.
bye.
Bye.
Well, yes,
Man.
and then you have to leave again.
Hey, how's your arm?
I have to do anything else?
You have to click leave twice.
Leave, yeah.
Oh, leave meeting. Okay. Let me try that.
That's it.
He's gone.
Good job, Professor.
Hey, Nancy May, how's your arm?
It's good. It's good. Thank you.
Good. Have you finished? And everything is
I had a
working? Numbness?
Still numb.
Okay.
Still,
God.
but they said it may take quite a while because evidently nerves take a long time to
Regen.
do it. Yeah. So I'm hopeful. I can now cross my fingers, which I couldn't.
Oh,
Wow.
Good.
You,
Well,
Nice to tell him
it's
lies,
something.
Nancy.
That's right. No, I'm doing great. Thank you, guys.
well, that's very encouraging. If
Yeah.
you're able to do that and all. Yeah.
Do most of you remember Troy Ingram?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Good job.
He goes to our church and he works every day for Caravan, transporting people to doctor's appointments and hospital appointments and stuff. And he and his wife both are just still in really good health. He looks just like he did from when he taught in school.
The day
Oh,
he came
wow.
Good.
Oh,
How old is he now?
he's in his, I would think, mid 80s.
83 or
Wow.
4.
Wasn't he assistant basketball coach or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Boy
He
came
used
here
to
with John
referee,
Basson.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, with John Baston. Hey,
Yeah, he-
Gene,
Terrible.
Yeah.
Gene, you say that you go to church with him?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You probably haven't been there for a while, have
No,
you? I mean, did they?
No, we're going, and they were there last Sunday.
Oh.
Okay, here, do us a favor. When you go and you see him next, tell him what we're doing
Okay.
and ask him if he would be willing to be on one of these Zoom calls.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
And
Yeah, that
and
would-
if we need some help, then I'll talk to Dooning and see if we can get him to come over to Dooning's place so that he can be on the call, because I'm trying to remember, I think Jane Ann was in his homeroom or something.
May have been.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Tom, at
yeah,
our 50th reunion, we had a table of teachers.
yeah,
Was
Right.
was Ingram one of those?
yes,
Wow.
yeah,
That's like
yeah.
And
They
it
look
was-
the
it was
same.
Kaiser was one of them, right?
Huh?
Yeah.
Aileen Gibbons there?
Who else was there?
Was
Uh,
Aileen Gibbons?
Yes, she was. Yes,
She
yes,
just won an
and-
award for participation as a volunteer.
Right.
She volunteers like at when they were open, Civic Theater, Civic Hall,
Mhm.
the Welcome Center. She volunteers all kinds of places.
Hmm.
Mike Rodish was there that
Yeah.
night with his
Yeah.
wife, Miss
And Mike
and
was
Mrs.
passed away.
Yeah, Mrs.
I had
Rodish
her in
was
the
my
8th grade.
homeroom. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was my
I-
homeroom teacher at Test.
I had her at Tech
I-
for English.
Yeah, I loved her, boy. Mm.
I did too. I really liked
I
him.
did too.
Well, Mike
She
always
was a-
said that.
Tommy.
He used to ride by to make sure.
I mean, I loved her as a person.
Okay.
I don't know.
What are you doing after
Tom,
school?
that's not what your face said.
No, she was very encouraging to me. Helped.
Good, yeah.
She was like a mentor
Mm.
to me. She was really great.
Diagramming sentences. It was so hard, and she got it through to me somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
8th grade.
Tom,
but unfortunately, yeah. Go ahead.
they have one daughter who's a very successful attorney out in Arizona.
Okay.
Arizona, I believe.
Yeah, they used to always go out to Arizona. I remember
They're all
that.
down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
He was
Yeah.
a baseball.
Harvey, they used to ride by my house to make sure I was home.
Wow.
On their way home, they came through the alley by my house, make sure I was there.
Wow.
Good.
Very
Then you see later, right? Bob?
Well,
Harvey-
Becky, you say where you grew up? Weren't you and Bob neighbors?
Bob, no.
Yeah, Becky was right down the street, weren't you,
Becky
Becky?
and I used to carpool it together, didn't
Well,
we? Way back when.
Jane and Judy and I all carpooled from kindergarten till we got to Charles, and then we walked
Yeah.
Oh,
And Jane
you were
drove
at
the
Charles.
whole
muddy
time.
path. 'cause
I
it was
thought
a
you said
shortcut.
Joseph. I thought you said Joseph Moore.
That's
Okay.
where I met Tom, was
Yeah.
when we were in high school. There was a classes over there.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. I got you.
But I went to Charles with Judy and Jane.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Didn't you have long braids then?
Yes.
I
And
love
you,
those
you
braids.
had
so
braids
did
too.
Yeah, but you had the best braids. I remember them.
And because of that, I have a part right down the middle of my head.
Hey, Harvey, how's the smoke and around you from the fires?
Well, yesterday and the day before were not good, and we were up in the 100 and something on the count, so unhealthy air, not as bad as you guys had it a month ago or whatever. But today a little bit better. I'm outside, but we haven't been going out for our walks and keep the air purifier going up in the upstairs in the house. So
Right.
you know, it's some fancy places burned up in Napa. This place called Meadowwood, which is
Yeah.
you know, like 6-7 night to stay.
Calistoga.
Yeah. And, you know, Calistoga Ranch. So
Oh,
Diane probably
God.
has people stay at those places. And
Yeah.
yeah, they like Meadowwood. I mean, dinner there's, you know, $3.50 a person, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Burned.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got your smoke up here in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're going to send
Carol?
it.
Carol, it looks foggy
Jimmy,
out
you
your
can have-
door. Is that smoke?
I smelled it a little bit yesterday, and I don't smell it today, but I can see it over the hills of Oregon when I look south.
Yeah.
All around me here.
Is it? What's your air quality, Jim?
It's hazardous for sensitive people.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Almost 100.
Oh,
Wow.
Whoa.
It's real smoky here in Colorado too.
Is it?
Oh, I didn't realize Colorado had any.
We have a huge number of fires going. Nothing like California, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Utah too, with, you know.
Is it still early? Is it early in your fire season?
That original stuff was early when, like 3-4 weeks ago, and because I do insurance stuff, and people were wondering, oh my gosh, you know, we're not even in the fire season yet. So, you know, we're getting into it now as far as that goes. It's just so dry, and it's been warm, and climate change. So, but the president says you just need to rake the needles and rake the leaves.
Quote,
You got millions of acres, right?
no, I don't think people that don't live in the West and where, I mean, there's so much forest.
Yeah.
Billions, millions of acres.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
There are 4 million less acres now.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Awful.
Y'all, I got to sign off too. I have a 6-year-old birthday party to go to, so very important. So, and I need to
Take
shower.
care,
So.
please.
Seeing everybody.
Have fun.
Good to see everyone. Nice to see you.
Good to see you,
Yeah.
Felice.
Bye, Felice.
Hey, one thing I noticed, there's some turtlenecks and fleece today on you guys that are up north. So look,
Oh.
TK, there's
Hey.
fleece,
Hey.
and Diane's got her turtleneck, Judy's got her turtleneck, Tom's got his turtleneck.
Getting there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have one out in Arizona yet.
Nor
It's still nice
Maybe
outside.
January.
It's still
Okay.
warm up here.
Yeah.
Tom Kinder, do you like your little village, your new little village?
Yeah, today there was a traffic jam on the main drag. We
wow.
had to take a
Take an alternate route.
alternate route just to get home in time for the Zoom call. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
we don't know why, but yeah.
6 cars, 7 cars jammed up?
No, they needed a policeman directing traffic. I don't know what was going on. We'll find out and I'll let you know. But
Fall foliage. Everybody was out looking at the fall trees.
maybe that. Although I think 2 weeks ago, most people, the locals, thought was the peak a little earlier than for whatever reason. But yeah,
Here
no,
too.
it's quiet and beautiful. Not a sunny day, but there's warmer weather coming next week, mid 60s and sunny. So Looking forward to that. How about you, Judy, in Lincoln?
We're way past peak. We've had 3 freezes and
Oh, wow.
not many leaves left, but it's okay. You know, getting ready for it. And
Sure.
it feels fine.
Hey, you guys, I've got to sign off. Gene, I'm counting on you being able to touch base with Troy Ingram. Now, I think that'd be really great if we could have him on. And I'll
His
see you
wife's-
guys next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Tom. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Tom.
Bye-bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Judy.
Bye.
Have a good week.
What were you saying, Harvey? Did you want me still?
No, we're good. I'm good. Tom.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hi to Jane Ann.
Okay, I will do.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
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 Anybody
All right,
want to come
outta here.
on, they can.
See
Bye-bye.
We can
everyone
tell
next week.
stories about the people.
See you,
who-
Bob. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, TKC, man.
All right.
Well, Harvey,
Yeah, I'm still here.
good, good. Glad.
Diane, what kind of, you do all kinds of travel stuff? You do just
Yes.
everything?
Right, but it's mostly luxury travel, cruising, FITs, you name it, hotels, we do it all.
Okay.
A lot of tours.
Has COVID really messed on that?
Oh, yes, my goodness.
sure.
Yeah. I'm on unemployment. I got a P loan. Yeah, there's no money coming in, but we're working just as hard or harder. But no, there's no money coming in. Everybody has changed to next year. So I've rebooked them for following year. So hopefully that will all, 2021 should be a good year, but
Yeah.
you know what's going to
I mean,
happen.
as
We're planning.
soon as they get that, soon as there's a vaccine, I think everybody's going to start signing up. But
Oh yeah, well they've already signed up. I mean, there are a lot of cruises and tours that are already sold out for 2020
wow.
because they all expect to go next.
Right.
So it's a good.
Have all the
Yes,
companies softened their cancellation policies because of it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, many are, and that's what we are encouraging all of our suppliers to so get people to sign up.
Yeah.
But most of the companies are very liberal now with cancellation. That's good.
Yeah, airlines and so forth were always a little tough on that.
Well, the airlines have been great. I have had so many, almost all of my clients who had big tickets have been refunded.
Good.
I have to pay back commission.
Yeah. Ooh.
So it's like I have a negative income because I have to pay back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
But I mean, we work so hard to get the money back for them, and then
Yeah.
the money goes out of my pocket. But I mean,
Right.
that's the way it is. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we go. Next
But-
year when they book, we'll.
Yeah. At least you
come
retain
back.
their trust and they'll come back to you. Sure.
Right, and we do the best we can to get the money back. And most people can't do that on their own, but because we have a relationship with the airlines,
Right.
we know what to say to them.
Got
They make a schedule change that's a major schedule change. We say no, that's not acceptable. And one this week that like 5-hour change, and no, that's not acceptable. So
They listen to you?
say again?
They listen to you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's easy when you speak their language.
Do companies like, my wife and I do some travel, but we do stuff with, not so much the cruises, but,
Tour operators?
yeah, so like do people like Overseas Adventure Travel or Geographic Expeditions, do they
Oh,
work
yes.
with you guys?
Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
thought-
yeah. Overseas is a great supplier.
Okay.
And National Geographic, Lindblad. Oh, gosh. We work with a lot of expedition type.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done a lot of OAT stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. But no, they're wonderful. We have a relationship. We just had a meeting with them, not maybe about a month ago.
Okay.
We do Zoom calls, all these
Right, yeah.
so now we see each other by Zoom calls rather than email. So it's really been good.
Yeah, there's some things that have actually improved on like that. You see who you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And a lot of webinars to really understand the product and what they do and how they will help us as well.
Good. Now, you right in Dayton?
Yeah, I'm outside of Dayton. I'm
Outside of Dayton. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Centerville. Our office is in Oakwood, but the office is closed.
Yeah.
I work from home. I've always worked from home.
Good. Yeah.
The last
Good.
20 years anyway. And so well, I hope you travel again, Harvey.
I do too. I mean, one of the reasons I've kept working is we can't travel. So, if I'm home, I might as well get a paycheck. So it's kind of year by year here now. I mean, I thought this was gonna be my last year, but I'm not sure. I may just keep working unless, if things open up.
Travel.
And then,
when it opens, I'm sure it will open next year. So maybe then you can retire.
I'll be ready.
Yes, right. Because it's not fun to be things that aren't fun.
Yeah.
My job is fun. I really enjoy it, so I don't see any reason to
Right.
stop.
You're still doing it, so it must be fun. Same here. With I like the people I'm working with, so that keeps me going. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, Diane. You guys both take care.
Good
right,
to
let's
see
go.
you. Good to talk to you, Diane. It was nice seeing you
See you
again.
next week.
You,
Okay.
Diane.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Thanks for
Bye.
running the show today.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.